What's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 14 of the 2on2out podcast. I'm your host, Nate. As you can see, my co-host Luke is not here with me this week. It's just me. And he is out of town coaching his team, so good luck to them as the rest of the weekend and in their games. But yeah, I've got a great show planned though. Either way, we'll go down college football. We'll go over the super regionals in college baseball, different things like that. And we'll go over the NBA finals and whatnot down the line. So, we'll start out with. I'm gonna start out with what probably the biggest news is since we last recorded, and it is obviously Brendan Sorsby. Now, Brendan Sorsby, he entered the portal and transferred to Texas Tech this offseason. He had a breakout year at Cincinnati, as you can see here by his stats on Sports Reference. He played all 12 games. He went 207 out of 336. That's good for a 61.6 completion percentage, 2,800 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 5 picks. Now, that's a great season, right, for a quarterback. That's a great season for a quarterback in general. There we go. Now y'all can see it. It really was his breakout campaign because he played one game of redshirt freshman, didn't play in 10 as a redshirt in Indiana, and then in his sophomore year while he did better yards and completion percentage wise, less touchdowns, more picks. So that's obviously not what you want as a quarterback. You don't want, yeah. Anyway, you saw improvement for him this past season. Now, long story short, right? He got caught gambling on games while he was at Indiana his redshirt freshman year. He said it made him feel more included with the team, which people have different opinions. My personal opinion is it's a complete BS excuse. Anyway, he got in trouble for gambling. This has the timeline of his full case that he's got going on right now. So we're going to go over that before I give my thoughts, right? So obviously January 4th, arrived Texas Tech after a breakout year at Cincinnati like I just showed y'all last year in 2025. So he entered the portal then, arrived Texas Tech. April 27th, he enters rehab on the same day news breaks that the NCAA is investigating allegations of him betting, obviously. As you can see here, it's wagering on one's own team. Obviously, is a cardinal sin in most jurisdictions. Because obviously, the integrity of a game might be compromised. It arose whether he would enter the NFL supplemental draft, which is a whole different draft process. Because obviously we're past the draft. May 18th, about a month ago now, it's June 11th, the day I'm recording this. And we'll get to the NBA Finals later. You'll hear me say tonight when we're talking about that because this goes up Friday of the day of Game 5. But yeah, because we uploaded episode 13 earlier today. It's live now. Go check it out. Anyway, back to today's episode. Obviously, he was eager. He wanted his college eligibility back, so he basically sued the NCAA. He admitted to betting, obviously, where he admitted to making 40 bets on Indiana while he played for him, none on the games he played in. Okay, again, like I said, he said, quote, makes him feel more connected, right? So, again, I think it's a complete BS excuse. Couple days ago, he wins an injunction. The judge, shocked the whole entire world, the whole entire college football world, granting his injunction, which means he's got his eligibility, while also only giving him a 2-game suspension. Which, let's go look at Texas Tech's schedule real quick. 2026 schedule. As probably most of y'all know, shout out FB schedules again, or FBS schedules. If I can get down to Texas Tech. Again, 2-game suspension. You missed Abilene Christian, which was going to be, he was going to get subbed out in the second half anyway, probably, because that was going to be a blowout. And then you missed the at Oregon State game, which it's not really a 2-game suspension if you ask me, because I mean, if that's the case, you get him back for the start of conference play against Houston at home on a Friday night. Sam Houston, which should be an easier game again for them, and then conference play, obviously. So I don't think that's much of a suspension because you missed 2. While Oregon State is a former Power 5 opponent when the Pac-12 actually existed in its glory. So, I mean, I guess, which now is the G6 opponent. So, again, and they weren't very good last year. Again, so you missed 2 easy games, which isn't much of a suspension if you ask me. Anyway, and so the judge gave him his eligibility back, which, NCAA with a public opinion, which is rare if you know anything about college sports in the NCAA. It put out a public statement saying it strongly disagrees, deeply concerned about the damaging, far-reaching, and broadly destabilizing ramifications of this outcome. Which is fine. I'm surprised the NCAA actually said something, if you ask me. Later that day, much of this week, the entire industry as a whole, conferences, doesn't matter the conference, doesn't matter the team, has spent much of this week, saying whatever, that they're not going to schedule them, and Yahoo Sports, Ross Dellinger, shout out him, of Yahoo Sports, published a story with on-the-record quotes from K-State AD, Gene Taylor, which, coming from a K-State fan, you rarely see Gene Taylor, our AD, put his name on anything, saying, obviously, you can see it, you can know what he said. I'm not gonna repeat it because I'm not gonna say it. Family friendly. Anyway, and the Georgia athletic director too, Josh Brooks, says there needs to be serious conversations about not playing Texas Tech in any sports. And the Big Ten, as a conference, intended to discuss its own ban on playing Texas Tech for any sport: football, baseball, basketball, whatever. Which is wild because punishing that part's where it's like, to me, okay. It's like, okay, at what point does it end? I mean, I get banning, scheduling any other sports from playing Texas Tech, but it's at like what point are you punishing Texas Tech? I get it. If one athlete has an issue, others might too. So I get these coming from, but yeah, I don't know why you would punish basketball and baseball. Well, it's easier to rig basketball, as we saw with, Alabama State players and everything like that. I don't know. Anyways, we'll continue on with that. And yesterday, they appeared unfazed. Texas Tech appears unfazed, as the athletic director for Texas Tech put out a lengthy statement. See if I can find it, because I saw it yesterday. If I can type. Yeah. I mean, but so, like, you can see here, Texas Tech is in a party to Brendan's lawsuit. They didn't file it, didn't fund it. This is a young man in treatment for clinically diagnosed addiction, exercising his legal right to seek remedy in a court, and a judge agreeing with him. Our rule has been to support his recovery, not engineer his eligibility, yada, yada, yada. I've heard the word integrity used a great deal in the last 48 hours. As someone who dedicated his career to college sports, I too believe integrity is central to our industry's success. I also think integrity applies on more than one front. The integrity of sport matters, so does the integrity of how we treat a 22-year-old who sought help in a residential treatment and is working every day towards recovery. Those two things don't have to be in conflict. First off, I want to say, Texas Tech AD, you got a point, right? I'm going to look straight into the camera when I say this. Texas Tech AD, you've got a point. I know you. I understand the school didn't file for him to be eligible. However, however, and I get he didn't bet on any games he himself played in, right? However, you got to understand the risk and where these other schools are coming from, right? Because while he didn't place these bets while he was playing, right? In no game he played in no games. And yes, he's seeking help for that, right? But what's gonna stop him from doing it again while he actually is playing this time and impacting the integrity of an actual game that he's playing in, you know? So I get where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from, Texas Tech AD. But at the same time, you gotta understand, yes, it wasn't he put bets on games he didn't play in. But what's gonna stop him from doing it now and actually controlling and actually having the ability to control the outcome and things like that, of that nature. So I get it. I get where the AD's coming from on this situation, right? But at the same time, you got to see the other side. And again, I said it. I'm beating a dead horse here. What's going to stop him from doing it again, even though he's in rehab? What's going to stop him from doing it on a game he actually plays in? Anyway, enough said on that topic. And that's the biggest news out of the college sports world. Moving on. That's all I gotta say about that. My co-host might give his thoughts on this situation on the next episode. I just thought it should be brought up, and because it just happened and it's an ongoing thing, and it's the biggest news in college or really in sports recently. So I thought it should be brought up. I gave everybody a rundown here. I mean, I had guests lined up to give their thoughts. Fell through last minute. Anyway, moving on. That's that. Also, we have the World Cup that has got underway today. As you can see right here, the opening game, Mexico and South Africa down in, where is it? Where is it being played at? I saw it and then I completely forgot where it's being played. Oh, Mexico City. Mexico took a 1-0 lead. This is the opening game of the World Cup. They took a lead in the 9th minute, so they scored early. We'll just go over the scoreboard real quick. You got South Korea and Shexia. I've definitely said that wrong. You got that. But since we're here, I'm obviously American, so I'm going to talk about the United States. Their group, as you can see over here, as you can see over here, you got us, Paraguay, Australia, and I don't know how to say it. It's Turkey. Anyway, I've seen others say it. I've seen actual experts on this say it, that with the way our group gave us right here, it's either quarterfinals or bust for the United States. So, the United States hasn't been great as of late. Again, they beat Senegal by a goal, lost to Germany by a goal. Those are two top teams in the FIFA rankings. I'll show if I can type. My goodness. I'll show all the groups here. Just how the pairing is. Hello. If I can find all the pairings. standings. Yeah, here you go. Here's all the, as of right now, obviously the game's not over, so this is updating in real time. You see all the groups here, groups A through L. 48 teams, bigger than ever before. Yeah, that's not all much I got to say about the FIFA World Cup. Anyway, moving on. You see it here. We have our final 8 teams in Omaha set. As I don't if you follow us on Instagram, you'll see if you follow us on Instagram, you'll see what we made, what me and Luke made our super regionals, our second chance brackets. Not gonna lie, they didn't turn out too great. I'm gonna check mine as we speak because I kind of want to know where I'm at. 44 points. Okay, so it's not terrible. I got the West Virginia one right. I had them sweeping. I missed the Auburn one. Had Auburn winning in 3. Got UNC right. Had UNC winning in 3. It did go to 3 actually. I had Little Rock beating Troy. Well, Troy swept. Had OU sweeping KU. That is what happened. I had Mississippi State winning in 3. Well, that didn't happen because Georgia swept. That's another thing we got to talk about. Oh my goodness. That Athens Super Regional, bro. If I can spell again. That Super Regional was electric. So, dude, you can see right here, bro. They have best of 3, Georgia 13-12, and then Georgia defeated Mississippi State. This was ridiculous. It was 20-something combined home runs, 50-something combined runs. The balls were, as they say down in Athens, the trees were getting fed beyond the outfield wall. Bunch of homers were hit by both teams. So, and I was gonna be the one where I thought pitching would be the deciding factor in that series. It was not. It definitely had. It was the offenses. Now, Mississippi State did blow a 7-run lead in game 1. Yes, but anyways, but yeah, I got 44 from the super regionals. Back to where I was talking about. I had Texas over Oregon. I had Texas sweeping Oregon, and they did. Their pitcher Dylan Velitis. I'm definitely saying it wrong, and I'll probably hear about it from my partner later on. And then I had Alabama beating St. John's, which was the Tallahassee Regional. I had them sweeping, and they did that. So I got 5 out of 8 supers, right? Again, shout out Diamond baseball right there. I had West Virginia and Mississippi State in the national title game. Well, West Virginia made it. West Virginia made the field. Mississippi State did not. And I had Mississippi State as my national champion, and so did my co-host. Follow us on Instagram at 2on2out podcast, and we post on there. By the way, we posted when we finished our brackets. We posted them before, so I'll show it there. 2on2out. Follow us there on Instagram. Again, I'll have the link to that down in the description of this video as well. Anyway, and I'll mention it again at the end. Anyway, here we go. Back to this. You have bracket 1. You have UNC, West Virginia, Troy, and Ole Miss. In bracket 2, you have all SEC teams: Georgia, Texas, Alabama, and Oklahoma. And West Virginia eliminate Cal Poly. Oklahoma sweeps Kansas, like I said. Alabama sweeps St. John's. Troy sweeps Little Rock. UNC wins in 3-2-1. Texas sweeps. Georgia sweeps. And Ole Miss sweeps. On the road in the Plains. Now, I personally thought it was going to be a lot more game 3s And that's what I wanted as a college baseball fan. My partner will tell you the same thing. My coach will tell you the same thing. He probably you want game threes as a college baseball fan. That's really what you want. You want game threes. Unfortunately, we did not get that because so many non-power four teams advanced. Again, shout out to Detroit Trojans. We wanted Little Rock to win. Me and my partner wanted Little Rock, but just because they were a 4 seed and had just made Omaha. And I don't remember the last time that happened. He can probably tell me that. So, but this was the first time multiple 4 seeds had made it to the Super Regionals since Super Regionals became a thing in 1999. But even though I wanted Little Rock to win, me and my co-host wanted Little Rock as as Troy eliminated Florida. I still think Troy deserves a shout out because, I mean, you made it as a Sun Belt team. You made it to Omaha as a Sun Belt. I mean, Coastal did it too last year and made it to the final. But Coastal's a powerhouse, so that's what they kind of expect over there at Coastal, at Southern Miss, at schools like that. It's not really expected for schools like at Troy, or it's not really expected at schools like Troy to make it out of their regional, and definitely not to make it to Omaha. So Omaha starts this weekend on ESPN. Speaking of, let's go look at the matchups for the College World Series. Let's go ahead and go look at the matchups and how the bracket shaked out. So you're gonna have Troy, West Virginia, Ole Miss, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Alabama, and Texas, Georgia as your starting, opening round matchups. Yeah, I mean, obviously, so me personally, I like this having a bracket full of SEC teams because that means you're not going to have. Well, I mean, there's still a possibility, obviously, of Ole Miss making it and having 2 SEC teams in the championship. But with an all SEC bracket, you lower the possibilities because three SEC teams are out. Anyway, I've already got the bracket pulled up. Wait, I don't know. We'll get to that in a minute. But here, I'm gonna give you my predictions for I'm gonna give you who I want to win and what I think will actually happen. Both teams I want to win, I'm not gonna lie, are up here in the bracket one. It's either UNC or West Virginia that I want to win, and I think either team is better than Ole Miss to make it out of this bracket. So I'm gonna go. I want West Virginia to make it, but if I'm going with thinking the team that I actually think is gonna make it, I'm gonna go UNC. I think Ole Miss does win a game. I think Troy goes 0 and BBQ or 2 and BBQ. Unfortunately, they could shock me as they have beaten Florida, Miami, and as they have beaten Power 4 teams like Florida and Miami. So I think UNC will make it out of bracket one and be in the championship series, even though I want West Virginia. I picked West Virginia, as you saw on Diamond. Shout out Diamond again. Out of bracket two. It's tough. There's not really any team that I particularly want out of bracket two to make it. So I'm not even going to say who I want out of bracket two to make it. I'm just going to say who I think will make it out of bracket two. And I wish I could drag to the finals to show you who I want. It's tough for me to pick a team that goes 2 and BBQ here. If any team does it, if any team is going to go 0 and or 2 and BBQ, I think it's going to be Georgia, because the Georgia fans are going to absolutely just hate me saying that, because obviously, shout out, I am from Georgia, not a Georgia fan. New City Connect Braves. Anyway, we'll get to the Braves and MLB in a second after this. But I don't think Georgia makes it. Georgia has the offense. Yes. First time since 2008 when they lost to Fresno State, I believe, in the final. I know that was the last time they made it. I'm pretty sure that was the last they made the final that year. Let me look that up real quick. Yes, they won. They made it to the championship series. It was the fight of the Bulldogs there, Fresno State and Georgia. So Georgia's back for the first time, back in Omaha for the first time since 2008, since that day or since that year. However, they have the offense for it, and they proved offense can win in the Super Regional. Obviously, down here by sweeping Mississippi State and coming back from a 7-0 deficit. However, in Omaha, to win Omaha, I think, in my opinion, you have to have a more complete team on both the defensive side and the offensive side. And I'm not so sure about Georgia on the pitching side. Now, they made it clear that they had the offensive firepower to make a run. But do they have the pitching? That will be determined. Now, out of bracket 2, I'm going to go with the Texas Longhorns because, again, that weekend rotation is phenomenal. I mean, the weekend rotation has been phenomenal. Now you're not gonna have, obviously the games are during the week too, so you're gonna have to manage your pitching staff. They're gonna have to manage your pitching staff. Oh, that's the other thing, is pitching staff management and how these managers will manage their pitching staff, bullpen, starters, whatever. Now Wes Johnson is good at that. Again, we'll see. But yeah, the weekend rotation for the most part was consensus All-American, then Dylan Volantis, senior Luke Harrison, and sophomore transfer right-handed pitcher Jason Flores. Now, let's go look at their stats on the year. Look here. You have Dylan Volantis. He was a closer, and now he's their ace. First team All SEC 2026. 2.03 ERA, 126 strikeouts, and 88, almost 89 innings pitched. Now, this says here you have 2 guys in the Sunday slot. Jason Flores and Cade Bing. And then you have Luke Harrison, who's been a staple and reliable anchor Saturday guy. Now, this is the other team here. This is the other stats here. Look at these team pitching stats, bro. Oh, I'm in the way. Hang on. Move myself over here real quick for this. Now, you see the team ERA right here, right? You have 1.71. That's historically elite among the absolute best in the SEC. You have an opponent batting average against of under 200, and you have a whip, which is a walks and hits per innings pitched, less than 1. So that's great. The whole pitching staff is absolutely elite, and that is why I think they make it out of bracket 2. So I think you either have UNC or West Virginia. I want West Virginia. I think UNC will make it. So you either have one of them to make it out of bracket 1, and you have Texas. Maybe with a loss, maybe not with a loss. I'm not going to predict that. Make it out of bracket 2. So if we're going pure based on what I think will happen in the College World Series, and if it'll be UNC versus Texas next weekend, I believe. Um, or maybe Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, or maybe the 21st through the 20. I think it's 19th through 21st. I think. I don't know. Anyway, 3 game series, UNC versus Texas. For the chance to become national champions in Omaha. Give me, if all goes to plan for the Texas Longhorns, giving they have their weekend rotation, like their typical weekend rotation arms for the national, like all available for the national championship series. Give me the Texas Longhorns. However, nothing ever goes to plan most of the time in college baseball. And so, for that reason, give me the UNC Tar Heels as your 2026 men's College World Series champions. You heard it here. You heard it right here. You heard it right here. UNC will be your 2026 national champions. For me. For me. For me. For me. My opinion. Yeah. So now let's move on to the MLB. So, as you can see, again, huge Braves fan. Hasn't been great. We swept the Pirates 6-3, 6-3, 3-2, and we are on the verge. We are looking to salvage the series tonight against the White Sox on the south side with Martin Perez on the mound and versus Anthony Kay. So you got 2 left-handed starters going at it tonight. Martin Perez, 4-3, 3.02 ERA, 56 2/3. He's been used as both a starter and a reliever for the Braves this year. Is more of a long guy. Still have the best record in the MLB. I believe the Atlanta Braves do. Yeah, still best record in the MLB. 43-25. Have the largest lead in the division, in any of the divisions, at 8 games of the second place team. Obviously, I'm not counting this right here because they're tied. The Yankees and the Rays are. But the Chicago White Sox, man, shout out to this young squad. And again, it came at the expense of the Braves. But shout out Braden Montgomery too, man. I mean, jeez. If you watched the when did he get drafted? Hang on. Yeah. So he got drafted. Okay, that's right. He got drafted in the 2024 MLB draft. So if you watch the 2024 College World Series slash men slash tournament, the story of him getting hurt the game before or the final game or getting hurt in the regionals, and him being out for the final entire season, not getting the chance to play in Omaha when Texas A&M made it. It was a severe injury, and he still went 12th overall. And so, but yeah, I don't know. He had that injury, and in his MLB debut, he hit the walk-off bomb for the White Sox. He hit the walk-off bomb for the White Sox in his MLB debut against, again, at the expense of the Atlanta Braves and Raisel Iglesias. But you can't help but feel good for the kid, man. I mean, after what he'd been through in college at A&M and all all those other things, man, I couldn't help but feel happy for him, you know. Yeah, I couldn't help but feel happy for him. So shout out Braden Montgomery, good for him. You know, what a moment. Bottom of the 10th, he hit a walk-off bomb in your MLB debut. Again, at the expense of the Braves. Now, there's been a particular, and speaking of the Braves, speaking of a Braves old friend that we used to have while Sean Murphy was hurt and let him go when he came back, only for him to be hurt again, only for Sean Murphy to get hurt again. Jonah Heim is gonna be your Shiesty player of the week. I don't know where it is. Oh, well, it's right here. So wait, hang on. It's right here. So yeah. Shiesty player of the week. I'm not putting it on this time. Anyway. He has been one of the hottest hitters in the major leagues over this past week. Former Brave, although for a very short time, and now we're stuck with Sandy Leon and Austin Wynns, who are not hitting very good. And again, Ha-Seong Kim not hitting very good either. Worst pickup or worst offseason signing 1 year, 20 mil. Scott Boras knows how to scam teams over. Anyway, and shout out Jorge Mateo for being good too. And him and Dubon, underrated pickup of the offseason. Most underrated, yes, no bias whatsoever. No bias at all. But anyway, back to Jonah Heim. 4 homers, last 6 games. One of the hottest hitters in the entire league as of right now. Anyway, so that's that. And now we are gonna talk about yes, Game 4, Madison Square Garden. Game 3 was the first NBA Finals game in history in MSG since 1999. Yeah. It was a madhouse there last night, especially. Spurs blew a 29 point lead. Yeah, I can't say Wemby didn't do his thing because Wemby did his thing. You know, as you can see over here, he had 24 points and 13 rebounds. Again, I'll say it. You see him right here. 37 minutes. Yes, he had 7 assists in 37 minutes, but 4 turnovers. And you had a crucial mistake by De'Aaron Fox. And I want to show it, but I'm not going to risk getting copyrighted. But OG Anunoby, man. If the Knicks close it out tomorrow, or if the Knicks close out this series tonight, bro, 4-1 on the road in San Antonio, where they have been one of the best teams in this postseason on the road. In closeout and potential closeout games, apparently, or especially. I want to say OG Anunoby's is the deserving one of the Finals MVP, and that's gonna get a lot of, you know, I don't know what that's gonna get, but it's not gonna be good. But for how many plays he's made and his performance throughout the entire playoffs, really, OG Anunoby. It's the Finals MVP. If they win tomorrow night, it's gonna be Jalen Brunson, because yeah, Jalen Brunson's been on tear the entire playoffs. Um, he's if they win, he's gonna be the king of New York. He's gonna take that over from Carmelo Anthony, Knicks legend. Um, yeah, man, I don't. I I really didn't want New York to win. I'm just gonna go ahead and be straight up and honest with you. I wanted San Antonio to win, and there's just still a chance. There's still a chance. Obviously, 3-1. It's been done before. A 3-1 comeback has been done before, and it was LeBron against the Prime Warriors. However, San Antonio is a young team. Wemby, Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, all still in their 20s, mid to early 20s. And so you look at it, and these two teams were built very differently. Obviously the Spurs, some trades, obviously for De'Aaron Fox, all those others, but they've been built mostly through the draft. With Wemby, number 1 overall pick, Stephon Castle should have been a Hawk, but instead the Hawks want to pick Wee Wee and Zachary Ricochet. Should have had Stephon Castle. Anyway, and Stephon Castle is like your 2K20 two-way slashing playmaker. If you know, you know. They're just too young. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you see the shooting percent. You see the shooting right here for Victor Wembanyama, 9 for 25. Not great, right? Not great whatsoever. Most of those were tip ins or tip backs. You know, offense rebounds, appointments like attempts like that. And he missed 11 straight at one point. So that's obviously not gonna translate very well if your best player, Victor Wembanyama, is, you know, is shooting that percentage in game 4. But while I look up the average margin of victory in closeout games for the Knicks, I'll talk about De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox, shot clock was off. End of the game. All you had to do is just this dribble, try and dribble, kill clock, get fouled. You go for the layup. You go for the layup. And you get blocked by OG Anunoby. The video's right here. Obviously, I'm not going to show it because of copyright, probably. But, well, it wouldn't matter. I don't think it would be that big a deal. But it's on ESPN. So, in the ESPN NBA, they have their deals. But yeah, the shot clock was off. All you had to do was dribble the ball out. And you would have won. I mean, they would have fouled you, so they would have fouled you, so you would have had the chance to make it a 3-point game at the free throw line. Like, because he said in an interview after the game that he took that layup to make it a 3-point game. He was trying to make it a 3-point game. And anyway, yeah, he said he was trying to make it a 3-point game and not give the New York Knicks. Sorry, I combined the Nets and the Knicks. Anyway, yeah, he didn't have to take the shot. He really didn't, because they would have fouled. He would have got 2 shots at the line, and he would have had a chance to make it a 3-point game then. But instead, no. He takes the shot, gets blocked, and ultimately ends up losing the game for the Spurs after blowing yes, they blew a 30-point lead, so naturally it shouldn't have been in this spot in the first place. But, yeah. And I don't know if the Knicks close it out tonight, because this is going up on the night of Game 5, the Friday night of Game 5. Or, never mind, I lied. Game 5 is not Friday night. It's Saturday night. Either way, if the Knicks close it out Saturday night, there's got to be conversation that has been the greatest. Yes, I said it. The greatest playoff run by a team in NBA history. Because look at this. Closeout games, they averaged 39.3 points as the average margin of victory. 3 30-point plus blowouts. Round 1, beat the Hawks here in Atlanta by 51 in Game 6. Round 2, they beat the 76ers by 30 in their closeout game. In the Eastern Conference Finals, they won by 37. I pray history doesn't repeat itself. Again, it's on the road like most of these games were. And I pray history doesn't repeat itself for the sake of... for the sake of NBA fans, bro. I mean, it's been a good finals up to this point. It really has. It's been a great NBA finals. It's been a great 4 games. There's been blown leads. There's been, obviously largest comeback in the history of the finals last night. From when I'm recording this. I mean, 30 total points in the second half. Really, San Antonio? Really? Are we serious? At least I think I did my math right. Yeah, 30 total points in the second half. Are we serious? Are we serious? Anyway, I digress. Quickly we'll go over the Stanley Cup final as well. Game 5 is tonight. I'm recording this. Hurricanes took Game 4 5-3. Tied up at 2 on Tuesday night. So Game 5 tonight in Raleigh. Go Hurricanes. Honestly, go Hurricanes. But yeah. That'll pretty much wrap up this episode. Episode 14 here for the 2on2out podcast. Yeah, like it, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button down below. It's episode, and we'll have our Instagram, our TikTok down in the description. Drop a follow for us on each of those. We post. We finally gotten active, at least some on Instagram and TikTok. Go check us out. Hit the like some button on those. But yeah, that'll wrap up. That's gonna wrap up episode 14 here. Once again, I was your host today, Nate. My co-host Luke will be back in the next episode. Again, I'll give good luck to to Luke and his team as they are out of town playing in a tournament. Good luck to them the rest of this week and tomorrow, as this will be uploaded tomorrow. But yeah, that'll wrap up this episode. And this will wrap up this episode. Again, drop a follow for us on our social media platforms. Drop a sub, drop a like, turn on the notification bell. And yeah, we'll see you. Luke and I will see you in episode 15. And yeah, go check out episode 13. Hey, one more thing. Go check out episode 13. It's live right now on our channel. This will be going up the day after. This is going up the day after. So yeah, check out episode 13. It's live right now, and yeah, we'll see y'all next week with both hosts back next week, or yeah, with both hosts back in the next episode. See you then. Peace.